Take one.
You have to ask the question.
I don't remember the question. What was it? Oh. So you never eat when you feel not eating, you don't eat for 7 days, or how is it?
Usually it's 2, 3, 4 days, but the longest time I haven't eaten was, for example, 7 days.
And why? Why did you feel like you had the need of not eating?
First, when I started, it was because I read the book about fastings and different technical stuff, saying why you do it and how it's good for the body to give rest for the organs and to level up everything in your body, the process. And when you read the book, you don't know how really good it works because you cannot describe it in the book. I mean, the guys do not describe it. So they say this: when you don't eat for a few days, like 7 days, then it's 14 days, then it's 21 and 30 days and more. There are levels that the cellulars are responding differently. After 7, after 14, after 21, after 30 and more. So it's like weeks. You can do it for weeks. And then it says, for example, in the book, by the book, that after 7, 14 days, the real process begins. That you see your skin start to change. It start to, all the acne and reasons that had problems, hormonals are starting to disappear. The body is feeding off the bacteria, viruses, everything that it doesn't need. It clears intestines. It gets rid of everything, toxins, because in the intestines, that's why you shouldn't eat meat or anything before doing it, because the toxins would go out in the body and it will intoxicate you. So it has to be pretty clear, like a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet, few days at least before.
How many days before?
Well, the best would be a week or month at least. So
only vegetarian diet and water?
Vegetarians can go fasting just like this, because I do it without preparation. When I'm on a vegetarian diet, I do it without any preparation, and it's no problem. It's just first 2 days you feel a little bit more heavy, and you have like a mild headache maybe sometimes because of the toxins release. At least that's what they say in book. I don't know what's the real reason, but it happens that it's like really, it's not migraine or anything like it. It's just you feel like a little bit dull in your head, like a little bit heavy, and there's an energy drop down. Then you have to physically adjust to it. I mean, well, at least in my case, the first couple of days, first 3 days.
And you don't feel like the need of food the first days?
Yes, of course, but if you do it in the right process and the right way, you have physical reasons and you have spiritual reasons. So you are an explorer. You don't do only for the cellular level and the body and the intestines. That's pretty much shallow. If you do it only for the body, it's shallow. For me, so it's okay. You do it both reasons. But for me, when I was doing first time, I was already awakened, so I knew I'm doing it for spiritual reasons. Like I wanted to show me what happens with my cellulars, that I understand with the body what happens when you don't eat, how you adjust to light, air, and everything, and then day by day you start to understand. And the first time was difficult because you don't eat actually, and you just drink like first 2 days like squeezed juices and just water, and it's really hard not to eat, especially if you're like an anxiety eating freak all the time like me or other people that are not conscious about that. So you want to eat a lot, and for 2 days stomach is adjusting to it, and it works. It says like 2-3 days it's calming down completely, that most of the people don't actually feel the need of eating if they just drink water, for example. So that's how it's worked technically.
And what kind of spiritual changes do you feel after that or during that?
This is the most important thing of the fasting, that many people who tries fasting don't understand, and they do it for, I wouldn't say wrong, but different reasons, I would do it for sure if I had a cancer or some physical problem, because whenever you have a rheumatological problem or cancer, if you go more than 2 weeks, you're gonna notice that the heavy problems in the body that nobody can help you, after 3-4 weeks they're gonna be gone. That's when one of my teachers told me before I was starting it, one of the spiritual guys. He cured himself from cancer, but not with the fasting, because he told me like every time he did fasting for 4 weeks and more, it was great for then a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then the energy structure, the codes of the body and subconscious mind, it came back to body with the same problem. So he was having problem with some rheumatology stuff that I mentioned, and he had a terminal cancer that he got cured later, but because of the meditation and all the subconscious programming and the lifestyle, the healthy lifestyle. So the fasting isn't answer to all of this, but it could be answer. If you want to see the difference that you can be cured from the cancer or any problem in the body, you can force body to not take care of the problem, to heal the problem, or just to skip the problem. You know, when the body has more problems than just taking care of your thoughts and your programs and subconscious mind, it just fixes itself on autopilot. It's like you would be dying with your mind, and body takes over and it heals everything completely. So they say on the cellular level it changes, and you can see the difference, like the pains, sometimes the pains with colitis, with other chronic stuff, it just goes away, and sometimes it is not, because I was trying to heal that, for example colitis, for 3-4 days, and it didn't go away because I wasn't calm exactly, and I wasn't sure what's happening in my body, so I was afraid. So the process was always like with some fear, and the fasting didn't help me. Or it should be, if I would go weak, if you go weak, you don't care about nothing no more. You're just becoming like quiet with your mind. Ego stopped existing because it has no energy, or there is no time to think about things that's not crucial to your survival. Then you see your mind spiritually. Now we go to your question. Spiritually, your mind quiet down like 2-3 big levels. So normally you are on the 4th or 5th or 6th, some people 10th floor of thinking and activation of the mind all the time, even before the sleep. And imagine that when you don't eat for a few days, your mind comes down like you normally have a quiet mind just moments before going to sleep, when you're really tired at midnight or 3 a.m. going to sleep, you know, when you don't care about everything. That's the best time to meditate as well, because you just sit and there's like nothing to do in the mind. He just completely turns off sometimes, in my case. That's why it's really nice to meditate at night, because it's so quiet. And the same what's happening with fasting, that it levels you down, but at the same time it like kind of levels you up, because this level down is really what makes you up in life and with your core and the spiritual process. And most of the people, like close of my friends, family, or somebody is fasting for like a diet to drop the kilograms and few pounds or change something, and I see they completely don't get the spiritual reason of doing it, like to level down the mind, maybe don't work at all or work really little, do what you need to do, and observe yourself how the mind is going down, how the process fixes you beautifully in your mind, that you don't care about problems anymore, you just care really about important stuff. So that's what you see after 48 hours of not eating nothing, just drinking maybe 1 juice a day, like a squeezed juice and water. That's what you should be observing if you are observing a lot, or you know how to observe yourself, and it's really simple process if you know how to be observer. So it's really important.
Do you sleep more, or something else changes physically when
Yes. Physically, at the beginning you have less energy during the day, so it's not like my goal to work and use mind a lot, because I mentioned to you before that it's like missing the sugar and glucose and the simple stuff, like to have a nutrition. So it doesn't want to, you can be working and very active, but you are very slow. Sometimes physically you notice that you're like so slow, like a slow motion, and you don't care about that because it's nice, but it's like you cannot exercise. Or once after 2 or 3 days not eating, I went to play squash, like, you know, very fast tennis thing with a wall. So playing squash with my friend, I noticed sometimes I was like almost hitting the ball, and then like I had like a millisecond of the blackout, and I was like, why did I hit the ball, you know? It was because I was too slow physically. But you know, it was kind of advanced exercise, but you can see it in the kitchen, just moving the glass. You think you handle the glass and then you drop the glass, for example, or you didn't catch it like you needed to, like you're a little bit slower. That's the physical stuff. And then normally I go to sleep like 10, 11, 12 at night, something like this, sometimes earlier. But then when I don't eat at 9 p.m., I'm really tired. So my body says like, really go to sleep, take rest. And what's interesting, 5 or 6 a.m., I wake up totally rested, without any food, without thinking about food, and you just recharge completely with the sleep. And the sleep goes deeper because it doesn't have to work with intestines and everything, you know, it doesn't have nothing to do. So I think it connects better. The body is well rested, but again, the energy during the day without any food, it goes down quicker. So there's not this, I say like there's three batteries. There's food battery for the body, there's like physical air and other processes water battery, let's say, and there's a spiritual battery, which, meditation and sleep connects you to it, or God, energy, consciousness, whatever you call it. So these are three different batteries, and just food is just one battery. That's why there are, well, maybe not a lot, but strong group of people in the world, they don't eat at all, or they just drink water, or they breathe sun, like they call it, or sun gaze or sun breathe or whatever. They have different techniques, prana, eating, healing, breathing. They do different techniques to recharge completely, that the life force eating, the simplest battery, just, it's there. There is no need to refill it like I'm refilling it still now. So you can see it all when you're fasting, and your body gets completely on different level because of the mind slows down. And it's like beautiful. You get like more connected. You're like, why those people run so much? Why this guy goes so fast? Where is he going so fast? You think so, Everything slows down to importance of being in the presence and life, and to save energy that is important, like with your consciousness, thoughts, and actions.
So you think when you're in your spiritual battery, or the other physical battery, the one with air and stuff, you need, when they are full, you don't need the other battery, the most superficial, let's say it like that, the food battery, to recharge?
I think the other batteries you need more. That's why I can eat all day. If I recharge the physical battery like with the food, I say like this. The food, let's say, it's like a fuel to the car. But car goes only, 1,000 miles without oil in the motor. And motor, besides that, needs air. So motor really, the engine works on air, which is, exchanging with the fuel to blow, and on oil, and these are like the first things crucial, and we only see fuel putting to the engine, to the motor, and of course it's important, but now the people develop the air engine, the electrical engine, the sun engine batteries and everything, just different forms of, so yes, the battery with food, I think it's the most superficial and more animal kingdom side. So I see it since years. I see it more as anxiety issues and animal kingdom part of the human genes and human lifestyle and human history. So there's a lot of people who just train yoga or are very conscious, then eat very less, for example, or they eat nothing, or like you eat for pleasure, you eat for fun, you eat for because you like, but if you don't eat, you're completely quiet. You don't get anxiety. And many people are just opposite. They get anxiety, and they have a lack of security, and the animal kingdom and body is taking over, and you need to eat. Sugar, addiction. The food is getting like addiction since centuries right now. So more advanced you are, less you eat, I would say. More technical advanced you are. So when I meditate more and I breathe consciously more and I'm calm, I don't work, I don't have to eat that much as well, like
So-
in Mexico, for example.
Okay. I imagine at first your stomach aches, or you have different sensations, physical sensations, the first days maybe.
Mhm.
Then you get used to it. Also your mind, you stop being angry about not eating or something like that, or you just sleep a lot, I don't know. But after that, well, first of all, when do you know that you have to eat again and you're like completely not cured but fulfilled with this, that you don't need to not eat anymore? And second, how do you start eating again? What kind of food do you start putting into your body again, so it doesn't
Yeah, I know
feel
that
bad
it
or-
doesn't that you don't get sick basically. So first of all, you don't have any aches or physical downside of the process. It just, you can feel hungry in the stomach, which is normal, but it's nothing bad about it.
But the gastric acids and everything, and it doesn't sore you
No, of
at
course,
first?
no. Even though in my stomach, in my case, I have a lot of gastric acids. If I drink only water, I feel it. It never molested me. I would say it goes completely better without food. Anything, any issues you have. So it's always, I think it's always better. And
Any physical issues you mean, or also
yes,
spiritual?
I mean physical and spiritual as well. Because many things, if you are a good observer, you see in the mind, your mind structure change, like I said before.
I think it's
to,
like to force something, like to get your body into a edge or something,
Kind
and
of,
then
yes,
you
yes,
start
yes.
seeing things that you
Yes.
wouldn't see because
Yes.
you were distracted with other thoughts and feelings and sensations and
Like you would be dying. It's like a small version of dying. You see what's important in life. So spiritually, it shows you what's important in life. Your body starts to change, heal. It starts to do the processes that there is a must to do them, and probably to heal the body as well. Because there's nothing else to do. So it heals itself, and it has to work. You know, body likes to work.
and
like
you
the
process
mind.
everything better, like in your mind slowly,
Yes.
and maybe you get rid of different thoughts that you thought they were important.
That's for sure, because I
And
can
then
see it in the first
you just
2
work
days.
in the basic mode, let's say it like that, and you just know what's really important and what it's messing with your, I don't know, like something that's just not good for you in the moment. You can feel it by slowing down.
You can feel it in your mind mostly. So your mind and intuition gets on different level. So then you feel. Always when I do it for a few days or week or whatever, usually it's few days, my intuition tells me if I'm going through the process well, or it's not. Even sometimes I get thought like it's not necessary to do it in my case, because I already did that few times to fix things physically or to force it, like you say, in the basic mode, like, you know, operating system in a emergency mode, you know. It just do stuff that it's necessary, and it works again even if it didn't work a few minutes before in the normal mode, you know. So it's like this. But your intuition tells you, like, sometimes you can even hear things like, is this really necessary to suffer a few days and more time without food, you know, because it is some kind of suffering for me. So, and I like to push myself to the edge to experience that spiritually and physically. And sometimes I just understood that the deep process I'm going through, the starvation, can fix it for days or weeks, but I have to fix it differently, more permanently, not in emergency mode, but in a regular mode, you know, consciously, and being in the presence like I am, like maybe eating and doing other stuff, to rework some important issues in me that are blocking some energy or other stuff, you know. So starvation can push you to the edge, can heal you, but if you're gonna repeat that, you might see that it's not solution to everything. Like Zbigniew, like the other healer, told me, like it was fixing him weeks without eating with any problems. It was fixing him, but it wasn't the solution because it was coming back. In my case, I didn't have serious problem like him before, but I would say the same, that it didn't. The issues were coming back, you know. So the emergency mode was showing that you can deal with things differently, and it switched your mind. It switched your mind. The mind switches, and you can see things differently. What's important in life as well. But how to get out of it? Your intuition tells you. Your intuition, or your body, you had like a cancer or something, and they tell, well, you don't have any, so you know, like, okay, it's been 2 months without eating. You can stop and see what happens then, or start different life. But if you don't eat for a month or two, let me tell you, your life will not be the same like before. You're gonna enjoy every salad you eat. You're gonna eat slowly. You're gonna enjoy life more. You're not gonna run. You're gonna get aggressive. You're gonna get distracted. You're gonna be less conscious, but you're gonna remember the moments when you were more enlightened, more awakened, when everything was slowing down, and you saw importance of life and importance of unimportant things like your issues in life, that we think like this is important, my work and everything. No, when you're slowly dying, or I wouldn't like to call fasting dying, but it is dying-like process. I have friends who haven't eaten for a month. I have a friend in Szczecin, older guy like me, that didn't eat for 3 months. He went to the doctor to check his blood. Doctor was, of course, like, we have to take you to the hospital. His blood was perfect. They still wouldn't take him to the hospital. He was feeling great, and he get out of the fasting because it was experiment for him, like for all of us. So he stopped fasting, and then you go out slowly. So first you boil a very gentle soup without any addings, and you drink just a bouillon, no vegetables. You cannot drop nothing on your stomach. There's a book saying exactly how you should get into fasting and get out. So we're not going to discuss that. You can read it on the internet, you can read it in the books, you can hear it from people who did that. So these are like technical issues, and we talk about reasons here and questions and why, how does it feel, what for.
Okay.